The following programme is a presentation of Jez Sports. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Main Event Podcast. It has been quite some time since our last episode. A month tomorrow, we worked out. Didn't mean to leave it that long. Apologies. Life has been a bit like that. But here we are. We're on the road to WrestleMania. It's a long, bumpy road that has begun and will unfold ahead of us for another couple of weeks before we get there. I'm Jez. That's Dan.
Me.
How the devil are you, sir?
I'm alright. I had my birthday on a Monday. I am officially 30 years old. I'm old now, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is definitely all downhill from there. Like, soon your back will give out, and
my back's already knackered. So
yeah, well, there you go then. Yeah. And for this next phase of your life, you've decided to grow facial hair.
I have decided to grow a bit of facial hair because I thought, why not?
4.5 years of this podcast, and like knowing you for a few years before that as well, I've never seen you with a beard. So this is brand new, not only for our viewers, but for me as well. Absolutely everyone.
There you
go. Yeah.
Something new for you all.
Will it hang around? That's the question, you know.
What kind of tune in to find out?
What kind of beard is he going to go for? Is the the stubbly look? The Jez, as I call it, is that going to be the key, or is he going to go for a full kind of Sami Zayn type beard?
I'm kind of gonna. I want to grow it out as long as I can, and just see if it annoys me.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Just go for it.
I can't wait to see the Sami Zayn unkempt beard. That's going to be a cracking sight to see. So, by virtue of not being on the air for a very long time, we have got a lot to discuss.
Yes.
We're going to discuss major events from TNA, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and WWE in the course of this show. But before we do, something else that's been long overdue, as we talk about our predictions and how we got on with all of that, is the fact that in this quarter, I am the new champion.
Yes.
And so as a result, you had to send me something by post that I haven't, I haven't opened yet, haven't even looked at.
Haven't.
So right here, live on the Main Event Podcast, I'm going to unbox in front of everyone. Yeah. I've had it sat here for a couple of weeks, but I'm in front of everyone going to unbox the Main Event Podcast Prediction World Championship in all of its glory. So if you'll bear with for a moment, I'll get the box. Just going to move this forward. You'll probably still hear me, but not as well.
Bear with him, ladies and gentlemen.
Chicago, bear with me. Here's the box. It's a chunker. It's heavy.
It is heavy.
I'll try and display as much of this on stream as possible.
He's trying here, folks. Look at him trying to open it. It's like he gets to play with scissors. It's like a child. Like a child on Christmas, isn't it? Look at his happy little face.
I play with scissors every day, mate. I'll have you know.
It's a bit worrying.
I'm a grown-ass man, and I can play with scissors if I want. Right.
Are you grown up?
Well, in age, yes.
Yeah.
In mind, no.
No.
There you go. And there's the championship in all of its glory.
Right, let's move on.
Bubble wrap. There you go. Right, good. Now, glad we did that.
Oh, we're so immature. That is the one.
Oh,
that's it. There you go. That's it. There you go.
Right, on with the show.
Yeah. The bubble wrap champion. The bubble weight champion. See, look at his concentration face.
I've not seen this yet. I've got it.
You've not seen it in person.
See it for the first time in all of its glory. That doesn't make much sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I have tried to cover the plate so it's a big
I've seen, yeah. So he's covered with paper. He's covered it with paper so that I have to reveal the paper.
Yeah, so it's a bigger surprise, really.
At the same time. Right, ready?
Yeah.
Ooh, oh my god, the leather?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that the leather had like a design to it. Ooh. Ooh. Neither did I know that the logo had the colour aspects added into it.
Yeah, I added them. Well, I painted the whole belt, so if you have a look in where the snaps are on the leather.
In where the snaps are on the leather. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if this... I'm trying not to knock my drink over as well.
They are. Imprinter's TMEP, the Main Event Podcast.
And that was not something that I knew was going to happen when it happened either. Yeah. That makes sense. Very nice. Does need a bit of a polish. It's got your grubby fingerprints all over it. But
well, I wasn't going to...
Yeah, I'll get some Brasso or equivalent. I need to look up what's the best thing to polish belts with. No.
Just like a cloth.
He's a heavy boy.
In your light, the strap looks brown.
Yeah. It's because of the red background, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, I can confirm it is purple.
That's more purpley there like that.
It is purple, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, it's burgundy, isn't it? It's the Main Event Podcast burgundy. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. The smell is giving me flashbacks.
Flashbacks to what?
To growing up with horses. Because it smells like saddle.
God. Yeah, that's very true. It does.
Yeah. Get one of those. I don't even know what they're called, but my mum used them all the time. It's like a bar of like this golden kind of stuff to rub on the saddle.
Saddle soap.
Oh, is that it? That's a boring name, isn't it? There I was thinking it was going to be something amazing like Saddle McGubbaladoo or some incredible name, and it's a saddle soap. Oh, right. Thanks, horsey people. Disappointing. Right, we need to finesse how I'm going to do this. Obviously, you track the mic. You put it down after we talk about predictions, but I don't think I'm going to do that. At least not today, and maybe not ever, because spoiler alert, I may only have this belt for a short time. But well, there you go. There's the belt. I will take some. I am happy. I'm very happy. Yeah, I will take some more detailed pictures of it.
Yeah.
In the sunlight, if we continue to get some.
Yeah.
There's been a tiny amount of sunlight in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So excellent. Well, what I will say is that equipment like this does not pay for itself, and so we would like to thank our wonderful sponsor at Go Energy Drinks for their help in all of that. You can get yourself a can of the Horny Goat in Original Mango, or the Funky Goat in truly sexual cherry flavour at goatdrinks.co.uk. And if you enter the code Jez10 at checkout, you'll get 10% off and free shipping. Beautiful. Now then, we should probably crack on with the show.
We should crack on.
Otherwise, we're going to be here talking all night. So,
yes,
we're going to do this by company for this week. And we'll start off with TNA, because I'd say we've probably got the least to say about TNA of all the four major promotions that we discuss. First of all, last month when we did do our last episode, Scott D'Amore had just been fired. And we kind of closed the show questioning whether what that meant for us and our support of TNA and whether we were that bothered anymore. Have you had any further thoughts in the last month about that?
Not really, to be honest. I think nothing much has really changed, to be honest.
It's exactly the same in terms of the production and the changes they had made. Obviously, it's still TNA now rather than Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
All of the people who were in charge of creative and booking and all of that kind of thing are still in place.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it. It wasn't something that was broadcast, but before TNA No Surrender, the entire roster came out onto the stage, and Eric Young did a speech basically saying, like, yeah, I know it's a bit crap that we fired him, but, stick with us. We will never die. There's no surrender in us, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Like, I've got nothing against any of the employees of TNA, any of the wrestlers or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth that Scott D'Amore was on the path to making TNA great again.
Yeah.
Not to steal a parlance from Donald Trump, never would, but you know what I mean. And the clear kind of conflict that existed between Scott D'Amore and Anthem was that Scott D'Amore wanted to spend money and Anthem don't. So rather than come to a compromise and spend some money, they're like, no, we'll just fire Scott D'Amore and put this chump in charge instead. And that is really what concerns me, is that things are going to go kind of backwards in terms of the production. It's really been, even when TNA or Impact was good over the course of the pandemic and post-pandemic, the production value was terrible. And so if they're going to go back to that, just because when the cameras break, they're just going to use the old ones, or, they don't want to spend money on nice new shiny entrance music for people, or just cutting corners, then I think I will start to lose a little bit of interest. But I'm gonna stick with it for now. But the excitement that I had for the return of TNA has certainly been stood on, I will say. But we'll continue to cover it, at least for now, on this podcast, and stay tuned for that. And in terms of TNA No Surrender, I really don't think there's a huge amount to discuss, really.
Not really.
It was a bit of an event that happened. I think the only thing I'd like to talk about, in the main event, kudos for it being the main event, Mustafa Ali won the TNA X Division Championship in what was his TNA wrestling debut. How do you feel about wrestlers coming in and winning big on their first event?
I'm not too keen on it, especially when it's a person like Mustafa Ali.
I mean, I like Mustafa Ali, and I respect what he did in WWE. I do have an issue with him coming in on his first attempt beating, the most successful X Division champion of all time. Better people have come and, not been able to defeat him in the last few months. And it is a little bit, not to, harken back to the old days of TNA, but it's kind of a bit like what they did in 2004, 2005. It's ex-WWE guy comes in and then they throw the world at them, championships right off the bat. And then after that, they don't really have anywhere to go. So, the only reason I can see that this is worth doing is if Mustafa Ali has turned around and said, look, you've got me for 6 months or a year, so make the most of me, because at that point I'm either going to go to AEW or I'm going to go back to WWE or whatever. Otherwise, it's not something that makes a huge amount of sense. I don't think he's a bigger draw than Chris Sabin. Really, it's not like we've got, John Cena coming in and winning the belt on his first night. That would, cause a buzz. Mustafa Ali is not John Cena, in case anybody had any question about that. So not the only championship won by somebody making their debut over that weekend, and we'll get to the other one a bit later. But at least it made the end of the event interesting, because the rest of it certainly was not. And it takes us into our first bit of predictions. We'll go through that as we do the companies as well. So we came into this show with a score of Jez 10, Dan 9. That's how it stood when I received the belt in the post. For TNA No Surrender, I got 4 and you got 6. So well done. You have taken the lead, and the score to date, or to that date, was Jez 14, Dan 15. Just pipped. Let's move on to AEW then.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they had a big event this past weekend, so that's a bit more current than TNA No Surrender was. And we had a big key thing happen last night on Dynamite that we'll get to. Let's do AEW Revolution's key events first.
Yeah.
Which to me, I think the key events start with Roderick Strong winning the International Championship.
Yeah.
And I suppose you can't really talk about that one without combining it with his Undisputed Kingdom teammate Wardlow winning the All-Star Scramble, and he will get his shot at the world title next week.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the Undisputed Kingdom and the success that they're clearly being given?
I'm there for it, to be honest. I am there for it. I think Roderick Strong, great. He's won a title. You know, won the International Championship. Great title for him to hold, I think. Great, you know. And then Wardlow winning the All-Star Scramble. I don't think he's going to win the World Championship off Samoa Joe, but
I don't either, no. But here's the question.
In the speaking line, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It certainly puts him in the spotlight, in the conversation about the World Championship. Here's the question, though. Are we possibly ready for an MJF return next week during that championship match?
Possibly. Depends if he's well enough.
Yeah, I mean, the injuries that he had were not, career-threatening injuries. He just had a lot of niggling things that he needed to recover from. And it's been 3 months now, or just coming up to 3 months since he didn't wrestle. So I don't really understand what the point of rushing this title match is if either he's not going to win or he's not going to be costed by somebody like MJF.
Yeah.
I would personally save an MJF return for when Adam Cole is healthy.
Yeah.
That said, who knows when he'll be healthy? Who knows if he isn't already healthy and he's just still sat there with the boot on to sell that injury? I don't know.
Unless, here's a scenario that just popped into my head. Unless Adam Cole is healthy, as you say, and he goes to help Wardlow win the championship by smacking Joe over the head with the boot or something, and then they go to win, and then MJF comes in and kind of breaks it up and all that, and
that would be decent.
Shenanigans that way. I think that would be good.
Yeah, that would be a decent bit of booking. I'd be down for that.
MJF comes in, his music hits, but it's the MJF Adam Cole music.
It's all about that boom.
Yeah. Because that would be funny.
It would be good to use that one, and then not go back to his actual music. But and I only really properly listened to the Undisputed Kingdom's music the other day, like actually listen to the song rather than it just being on in the arena.
Yeah,
and it does have the same timing as Adam Cole's theme, so that he can get on the apron and do the.
Oh, really?
And do a boom, yeah. The timing works out the same. I did check through it.
Cool.
Yeah. And it does. There is a line in it that it's all about the boom. Actually, is in there in the beginning at the point where he would be on the apron. So it's ready made for Adam Cole to actually use it as his music when he wrestles.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool theme though. I'm digging it. Yeah, I don't know about this Wardlow situation. I think what you're saying is the only real way that it's going to make sense. Joe can't beat him clean, otherwise what was the whole point of it? And unless he's going to be turned on by the Kingdom as well, but then what was the point in him being in the Kingdom at all? It would just be a bit crap, frankly. So let's hope it plays out how you suggest. They do want to make Big Business, as the show is called next week, a big success. So bringing back MJF and kind of pseudo announcing that Adam Cole is healthy to wrestle would be two kind of really big things that they could do. So elsewhere at AEW Revolution, Eddie Kingston defeated Bryan Danielson to retain his Triple Crown.
Yeah,
I've mentioned it in passing on the show before. Eddie Kingston has grown on me a great deal.
Yeah, you've said.
How are you feeling about Eddie Kingston?
Yeah, he's fine.
I think he's grown on me more in ring.
Yeah.
Ever since he went to Japan to do the G1 Climax tournament last year, he has been a different Eddie Kingston than the I'm a thug and I'm going to hit you over the head with a sock full of batteries type nonsense that he was doing. I like the Eddie Kingston that is the respectful, reverent, pays homage to the Japanese greats and wrestles a strong style rather than just street thug from New York that isn't particularly believable. Like, okay, I get that he's a hard man, but
did you not know he's an hard man?
He just goes a bit above and beyond to try and prove he's an hard man, and it just doesn't resonate with me.
He's an hard man.
I know it resonates with a lot of people, but
he's an hard man with his belly.
It's just crap. He has also, credit where it's due, reduced that belly, and is buffing up a little bit. So fair play to him there. Defeating Bryan Danielson. How do you feel about that as an outcome?
Fine. I get that he defeated him because it was for the title. I think in any other situation, Danielson would have won.
Well, this is the thing. In terms of predictions, you went for Kingston and I went for Danielson.
Yeah.
And I did kind of think that all bets were off in terms of the championships because we've seen Bryan Danielson's relationship with New Japan over the last few months. He's been out there, he's wrestled against Zack Sabre Jr. and, for him to hold the NJPW strong openweight championship, I don't think it would have been the end of the world.
No.
But there has seemed to be some distance added between New Japan and AEW over the last few weeks. It's subtle things, and it isn't really being talked about, but I've been like, all right, that's changed, and I guess we're not doing that anymore. For example, the Bang Bang Gang, the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, have dropped all Bullet Club branding. Yeah. And I do think they've even pulled the Bullet Club Gold merch from the website and replaced it with Bang Bang Gang stuff. And I'm wondering, if New Japan said, actually, we don't want you using the name of our stable anymore. Likewise, in TNA, ABC are no longer, Bullet Clubbed up. They are just the ABC now, the Ace and Bay Club. They don't use the Bullet Club music. They've got their own music. They don't have the Bullet Club logo everywhere. And I'm just thinking on New Japan under Tanahashi now, like, no, actually, we'll keep our things for us.
For ourselves.
And if it's a New Japan star appearing on your show, then by all means they can use it. But people who are leaving us to go and make more money in America, actually they can come up with their own shtick. We're not paying for to develop these guys, and then you reap the rewards for it. So I've got no problem with that whatsoever. No. But I do think that is what's happened with the Bullet Club, and I think and I didn't really equate it too much that could be the reason that Danielson wouldn't be given the strong title as part of that Triple Crown. But I guess it does make sense now. The thing that irks me about that, this is supposed to be Danielson's last year, or he's only got months left if he keeps to his original retirement schedule plan that he declared. And so is he going to win a championship in AEW, or are they just not going to bother?
I hope he does.
It just seems daft from AEW's point of view. You have Bryan Danielson there, and you're not going to add him to the list of people who have held your world championship. You're not going to put one of the best wrestlers in the world in that conversation just for your own championship's credibility. It's weird. And it makes perfect sense that he beat Samoa Joe for it. It's just an easy story. Yeah. He's going to do it and then vacate it like Sting's done with the tag titles. It was fine. It's fine for the tag titles, but you can't do that with a world title. That's silly.
No.
absolutely silly.
So dumb.
So yeah, while I was okay with Kingston winning, I'm also a bit, is Danielson just going to lose all his way out? Is he? Because, he's not going to beat Ospreay.
No.
So, yeah, we'll just job him out. That helps build his credibility in his retirement.
That helps it up, doesn't
it? Yeah. Sting, you can have, a 30-match undefeated streak over the course of years. Danielson, you're not allowed to win ever again.
No,
that makes sense
allowed.
For a retirement.
Allowed,
yeah. Why not?
It's all fine.
And that segues us into the last conversation from AW Revolution, which was Sting's retirement and the match that came from it. I will ask you before that, as possibly their biggest fans, how do you feel about the new Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, and their corporate guys as on-screen EVPs as well as behind-the-scene EVPs?
Still stupid.
But you love the Young Bucks. I'm surprised that this isn't, pushing them over the edge for you.
Expletive, hate them.
Love is very close to hate. It is often said.
No, it's not.
There's a fine line between love and hate, and you are definitely skirting that as far as the Young Bucks are concerned. You're well into hate.
Yeah.
I'm well into hate, blood. I love me some hate, especially for the Young Bucks. Yeah. So I assume that you don't think the Young Bucks were the right final opponent for Sting then?
Probably not.
I'm not sure about the tag team match aspect of it. I feel like Darby Allin could have been involved, and everybody else, all of the legends and his sons and everything. I feel like it could have played out exactly the same against somebody else in a singles capacity.
Yeah.
Even if Sting was gonna beat them as well. It's very rare that a guy in his retirement on his way out wins, but that's exactly what they did with Sting and vacated the championships. However you feel about that. I don't know. Who would it have been, I suppose, is the question.
I don't know. Danielson
would have been a good one.
Would have been a good one.
Yeah.
Because against Darby Allin.
Oh, you know what? I could have gone for that. I really actually could have gone for that. Yeah. Because then Darby Allin could have still have done his stupid off the ladder through the glass and impale himself 1,000 times spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you see what happened to the woman in front row?
No.
She got a piece of glass stuck in her forehead from it.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah.
What, a member of the crowd?
Yeah, if you watch it, there's the people in the corner, the corner bit that's right next to the ring and ramp.
Yeah.
There's a woman in like a pink top. Darby Allin comes down, she literally just goes like this. She like flings back, and apparently it went right into her forehead.
Nice.
A piece of glass.
Nice. I mean, obviously that was sugar glass, and it's not supposed to do that. But no. I guess they haven't properly tested what happens with sugar glass if you come down on it from what was probably about 20 feet in the air.
Well, considering what happened to Darby Allin's back.
Yes. Yeah, he had to have stitches in two different parts of his back.
Yeah.
And you could see all of the shards just immediately stay in him.
Yeah.
It's a good job it was sugar glass, otherwise that would have been, a bitch to get out. Luckily, they could probably just let it dissolve in the blood.
Yeah.
But not the greatest plan for a guy who is going to climb Mount Everest at the end of this month. But
when he did it, I literally just thought to myself, it's Sting's final match, not yours.
Yeah. Well, maybe he was trying to retire with Sting,
Yeah.
I genuinely think that Darby Allin, in his heart of hearts, believes that he's going to die on Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Like I think he genuinely believes that he is on his retirement tour himself because he's going to die on Mount Everest.
Yeah.
So okay, sure. It was a great spot. It looked fantastic. It was hideous in the best possible way. So kudos there. It certainly made Sting's retirement match memorable. But I do think, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think Sting versus Darby Allin would have been a much better finale.
Yeah.
Much better. But hey, it's not what we got. And it's never going to happen now. I think the only possible thing that could get Sting to come out of retirement would be if somebody else agreed to come out of retirement for one more match. And they finally did Sting versus The Undertaker.
That'd be awesome.
It would be great. I mean, it wouldn't be as good as having them fight off in their prime, but it would be incredible. And
it would have to be in WWE.
It would, yes. Yeah. Because, well, I think that used to be the case, but now that Vince isn't in WWE, I don't think, Mark Calloway has the same allegiance to the company as he once did. So it could happen elsewhere, but then he wouldn't be the Undertaker. So
yeah, exactly.
Or maybe he would, because apparently Ari Emanuel and Triple H and Nick Khan are a bit more relaxed about talking about the competition and things now. So who knows? Let's do the predictions from AEW Revolution and then talk about some current AEW business. I got 7. You got 8 right, which takes the rolling score to Jez 21, Dan 23.
Boom.
Another added point ahead for you there. Next week on AEW Dynamite, as we mentioned, it's AEW Big Business. We were expecting a number of debuts to take place there, but one of them happened last night on Dynamite. Kazuchika Okada is all elite, literally and figuratively. He has joined the elite and finally turned heel. Yeah,
finally.
I wonder if that was one of the sticking points for Okada in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He wanted to turn heel, and they said, no, you can't. You're the golden child. You're not allowed to turn heel. I think he's going to be a cracking heel. I am here for it. I almost bought a Kazuchika Okada t-shirt from shopaew.com earlier. But between making it extra long for my incredible height and the $14 shipping that it was going to cost to get it here, it was going to be about $50. I'm like, no, I shouldn't spend $50 on a t-shirt. No. Maybe I'll get one when I'm out in the States in the summer. We'll see.
Yes.
I'll ship it to my hotel and and then it won't cost as much. I'll still be tall, but I'll also be closer to the t-shirt, so that'll save me some money. What did you think of the Okada debut?
Okay. I don't think it was anything special.
No, I do feel like they kind of like prematurely ejaculated with Okada in that sense. Like, it probably would have been better at Big Business next week.
Yeah.
Okay, they're looking to debut someone else, but I don't think it would have, that one would have overshadowed the other. I think having them debut together on the same night would have made it bigger for both of them and for the whole show in general. I get that it was the new look Dynamite and the first of a new generation, that they wanted to make something big happen.
Yeah.
I feel like there were a lot better ways that they could have done it, and I hope it doesn't negatively affect Okada going forward. Yeah. I am looking forward to seeing him wrestle on Collision, though. Yeah. Apparently they're going to be in action as the new elite.
Yeah.
The Bucks and Okada. So that'll be cool. But yeah, I've kind of skirted around it. Who is it that we think that we're getting on AEW Big Business
Mercedes
next week?
Moné.
Yeah, Mercedes
Mostly
Moné.
because have you seen the tweet Moné put out?
No, I don't follow her. I'd like to hear as little from Mercedes Moné as possible.
I don't follow her, but somebody put it on Facebook saying, well, that's ruined at AEW then. Moné literally just put, Moné is always big business. It's like, well, you've just ruined that then, haven't you?
Why? I mean, it was obvious to begin with, down to, her location in her Twitter X bio was Boston with the, the double dollar signs. I'm like, okay, can't you just shut up for a little while and just wait for it to happen. Whatever, man. I don't like her. That's been made very clear. I think she's all about herself. And if you don't think she's all about herself, go and watch her appearance on the Stone Cold podcast or whatever it's called, the Broken Skull Sessions.
Broken Skull Session.
Yeah. If you like her after that, then I don't know what to tell you.
You need medical assistance. Yeah,
probably. But yeah, she'll be there next week. Some other things might happen.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So
that's AEW.
Yeah.
Now on to the first of two chunky conversations for the two big companies that have had lots of events happening in the last few weeks. New Japan Pro Wrestling, first of all. Yeah. Since we were last on the air, we've had 2 days of New Beginning in Sapporo, the New Japan Anniversary Show, and the continuation of the New Japan Cup today.
Yeah.
Let's do all those predictions and get those out of the way. So, New Beginning Sapporo, day 1. I got 7. You got 6. About time I got more than you on one of these. Day 2.
Just wait.
I got 4. And you got 4. Okay. A tie is better than nothing, I suppose. Yeah. New Japan Anniversary. I got 4. And you got, sorry, I can't read that. It's too far away. I should never have given you access to this document. Yes, you got 7.
Baby!
And then today, for the majority of the New Japan Cup, we're only predicting the actual Cup and any championship matches that take place. So of the 3 possible matches predicted, we each got 2 apiece. Yeah. Which takes the score with all of that maths, and I did do it with a calculator because I don't trust myself, takes me to 38 and you to 42.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a deficit.
Yeah.
Let's go through the big news from all of those events then. Other than the whole lot of it being generally enjoyable, I've got to say. Yeah. New Japan is definitely on fire at the moment. Nick Nemeth winning the IWGP Global Championship in his debut with the company.
Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. I am conflicted. I really am. I do feel that Nick Nemeth coming in and winning the championship on his first try is a lot more valid than Mustafa Ali doing it.
Yeah,
honestly, Nemeth is a former world champion, and this was not a world championship. This is an intercontinental equivalent championship, basically. Yeah. So he should have come in and won straight away because he's that damn good, frankly, kayfabe or otherwise. I don't like this for David Finlay. It was his first defense, and he failed in the first hurdle.
Yeah.
If that was going to be the case, why bother putting the belt on him in the first place? It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
It's just kind of strange. And, it was interesting what he said at the end of the New Japan Cup show today. I don't know if you've seen what he said. I know you probably haven't had time to watch this event yet, being as it was today. But basically, he said he's going to win the New Japan Cup, challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, win that, bin it, beat Nick Nemeth to become the IWGP Global Champion, and keep that one and make it the main championship in New Japan.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a lot of effort to when you could just keep the belt that's actually a world championship.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whatever, David, you do you.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
Might I suggest you spend some more time in the gym instead? That would probably be a better use of your time.
Yeah.
Which is, unfair of me to say as a fat git. But also, David Finlay doesn't do himself any favours as people continue to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
He's not a very well-liked person in the fandom, and not just because he's the leader of, Bullet Club, one of the biggest heel stables in the world. Yeah. People just don't like his in-ring work and what he does between the ropes. And I don't quite get that. You know, I do like a lot of what he does. I think he is maybe not just as deserving as some of the other former Bullet Club leaders, but I do think that he is a good leader of Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Could he work harder? Possibly. Will he ever, live up to the legacy of his father? No, probably not. His father was a wizard in the ring.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a very good promo either.
No.
I'm just going to throw that out there. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree there.
No.
So, yeah, conflicted about the whole Nick Nemeth winning thing.
Yeah.
I think it really comes down to how often is he going to be there? Is he signed to TNA?
Yeah.
Or is he doing the New Japan thing as a primary thing, and then he'll just come to New Japan, come to TNA here and there?
He's just a bit all over the place at the moment.
Yeah. I would have preferred him to just be full-time in New Japan for a while. Like, I don't think he's in the New Japan Cup, which is weird.
Yeah.
Really should be. Maybe he just didn't want to live in Japan, which boggles my mind as well, because Japan is awesome. So, yeah, put a pin in that conversation, and we'll see how that plays out. But I'm sceptical, despite how worthy he is of that championship. Next key thing from New Beginning in Sapporo was the hair versus hair match. Yota Tsuji defeating Yuya Uemura to have his head shaved, basically.
Head shaved.
Send him back to being a young lion with no hair.
A baldy slaphead.
I mean, that's not quite the terminology I would use, but yeah. I mean, I think it's safe to say that he's not enjoying that very much.
Oh, God.
That's the wrong one. Let's try this one.
That's the wrong one. You can't even get it right. He can't even do it right. Oh, my God.
I believe that I messed up. There you go.
All
I fixed it.
All I've got to say to you is moose. There
you go. We've covered them all.
We've got to get him in there somewhere.
Yeah. I've pressed all the buttons now. I can stop being,
Okay.
I've got a championship belt to play with. I don't need buttons anymore. Anyway, I don't think there was truly a correct answer for who was going to lose this match and have their head shaved. But we obviously went in opposite directions as part of the big deficit. Oh no, it isn't part of the big deficit. It's just in amongst all of the ones on that tie. Yeah. I don't really understand why they shaved his head, why they went down that line. Unless, he approached them and said, look, I'd like to change my look. I'm going to change my hair.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make something of that.
Yeah.
But I've never really been a fan of hair versus hair matches.
No.
Normally, you know who's going to win because it just makes sense. Like all the way back to Kurt Angle versus Edge. It's like, Kurt Angle's hair is falling out more day by day. Of course, it's going to be him that loses, so he can just shave his head. Yeah. But, those long locks of Yuya Uemura did not need to be shaved, and I don't really know how I feel about that, but it happened.
It happened.
Will he use that as a launching point for something new?
Stuff happens.
Yeah, where he has, it's not like fully shaved. He's not bald. It's like a number 2 or whatever.
Stubbly.
But he's also dyed that red.
Nice.
So he doesn't look like a young lion completely.
No.
Owing to the red tint to his scalp and the, not black trunks of the young lions and all that kind of thing. So, that happened. I don't know how I feel about it. Have you got any other thoughts on hair?
Not really.
No? How would you like to have your head shaved?
No.
I didn't think you'd want it. No. No hair versus hair matches in our future then. Because I would kick your ass and you'd have to have your head shaved. Next, the New Japan Cup is underway.
Yeah.
So far, we've had all of the matches on the left side of the bracket. Toru Yano, Yoshihashi, Jack Perry, Chase Owens, Tangaloa, and David Finlay are through on the left side of the bracket. This isn't like the G1 tournament where it's a round robin and in leagues. This is a single elimination King of the Ring style tournament. Yep. Once you lose, you're out. Big surprise there for me was Yoshihashi beating Kenta.
Yeah.
Especially because Kenta and Chase Owens are the tag champions.
Yeah.
So I guess Yoshihashi now and Bishamon by extension are now going to get a shot at the IWGP tag titles again.
Maybe.
I hope they don't win them because they held them forever, and I was ready for some new people. But we shall see. Everything else is pretty much as you'd expect.
Yeah.
I still don't like Toru Yano. I wish he would either go away or go back to being a heel again. And speaking of heel, Jack Perry made his New Japan debut. He defeated Shota Umino, which was an upset, with the help of, and then joined the House of Torture.
Yeah.
It's probably the biggest news of all of this New Japan news, actually.
Yeah, it probably is.
What did you think of it?
Yeah. Why
Do you like
not?
Jack Perry?
I don't like Jack Perry.
No. I kind of like the idea of this scapegoat gimmick that he's got going on.
Yeah.
And I really like that giant goat head that he wore to the ring. That was hideous and fun in equal measure.
Yeah.
And I guess if he's going to join any stable, House of Torture probably fits.
Heel.
Yeah, the most hated faction in New Japan Pro Wrestling, possibly all of professional wrestling. That kind of works.
Yeah.
And for me, it kind of cements the fact, unlike, a Matt Riddle or a Nick Nemeth, no, he's a New Japan guy.
Yeah.
He is there full time.
Yeah.
So, good. I don't want to see him back in AEW for a very long time, if at all. Yeah. So, he fits in the House of Torture. I'll enjoy watching him there. And it'll give him a chance to actually showcase what he can do in the ring, which is fairly decent. Just keep him away from Glass and CM Punk.
Yes.
Speaking of CM Punk and the company he is now in, we will move on to WWE, which is the last of our 4 companies that we're going to talk about. 2 big events to talk about, and then obviously, the big event that's coming up that commands our attention. Let's start with Elimination Chamber then.
Yep.
It was 4 matches long. They were all a bit obvious and predictable.
Yeah.
But was it an enjoyable show?
It was okay. I wouldn't say it was amazing. It was okay, I would go for. Yeah. It was slightly disappointing for me that they made all the effort to go all the way to Australia, and the best that they could muster was 4 matches, none of which was a championship or a world championship match. Okay, I know Rollins was, injured or about to be cleared, but wasn't quite cleared. But I mean, Rhea Ripley was there doing her thing, but
Rhea Ripley. I take it back. There was a world championship match. I suppose I meant men's world championship match.
Yeah.
But if there aren't going to be any men's world championship matches, then I think both women's world championships should have been defended, and Io Sky should have been defending her championship against someone. Could have been literally anybody on that roster.
Yeah.
So it was all a bit predictable. That is to say, prediction-wise, of the 4 available matches, we both got all 4 correct.
Yeah.
I'll add that to the score after we get to NXT. Watchers Hampton, good to see you. I suppose the things that come out of that are the things that are worth discussing rather than the event itself. It cements that we have Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. And it cements that we have Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
It's just things that we knew that were going to happen.
Which is kind of disappointing for me, As much as I'm enjoying WWE at the moment, and I feel like there's a lot of momentum and things have changed quite rapidly, and everything's exciting. There's lots of really cool things happening. it could still be a little less predictable.
Yeah.
I would have liked a couple of red herrings thrown in here and there.
Yeah.
Like, we've known it's been Drew McIntyre for months. Like, it's been obvious for months. Couldn't they have thrown some kind of swerve in there where they were building a few different potential challenges for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, so that then we'd have been surprised at least by which of those 3 or 4 that they developed was the one to go ahead to WrestleMania. Yeah. You get some disappointed people, but that's life. It makes it more real. Like, not everybody gets the thing that they want, and it's kind of weird how the silence of everybody else speaks volumes. It's like, well, nobody else on the roster wanted a world championship shot. Nobody outside of the what was it, 6 guys in the Elimination Chamber was interested. Nobody made any kind of impassioned plea for it. It's just all a bit kayfabe breaky. I just don't like how it's like, no, we'll tell you what's going to happen, or we'll make it obvious what's going to happen, and then you can just enjoy the road to that inevitability. Yeah. It does ruin the enjoyment a little bit. I don't like being able to correctly predict absolutely everything. As much as, it potentially brings me back this baby.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that obvious. No. I'd like to be wrong as much as possible.
Yeah.
I'd like to go into this going, I really don't know who to pick here, rather than, well, it's this person, this person, this person, this person. Easy. Done.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
It's pretty disappointing to me.
Yeah.
And that kind of sums up the whole build to WrestleMania. We're still 4 or 5 weeks away.
Yeah.
And we know exactly what's coming at WrestleMania. We know what matches we're going to get. There isn't really going to be much surprise there, aside from maybe who goes for the tag titles.
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty set in stone, and we're just going to spin our wheels all the way through. Going to give The Rock the opportunity to do 20-minute promos, even though we know exactly what he's going to say, and we know exactly where it's going. But hey, let's not give an answer on the show we're on. Let's drag it out to the next show and the next show and the next show, because people still need to watch it, right?
Because we're like that.
Silly. Other than Cody Rhodes winning the Rumble and getting the Universal Championship, Undisputed Championship shot, nothing else should really have been set in stone by now.
No.
Really. There's still too long to go before WrestleMania for it all to be set in stone. So, which is why I'm back on UK time and not watching things live at the moment, because I don't need to. There's no benefit to watching it live. There's no surprise happening in WWE, and the surprises are more likely to happen in New Japan, where I need to be up at 9 a.m. instead of staying in bed till midday. So I'm on New Japan time now. So any other thoughts about Elimination Chamber before we move on?
No.
Okay. Bit more recently, as in Tuesday, NXT Roadblock took place. Again, this is more key because of the things that we know as a result, rather than what happened at the event. Bron Breakker, obviously signed with SmackDown a few weeks ago, and since that point won the NXT Tag Team Championships with Baron Corbin, and then at NXT Roadblock retained the Tag Team Championships with Baron Corbin. Thoughts about that he's still juggling NXT and SmackDown?
They've done it before with talent, haven't they? Where they've brought them up, but also they're staying down in NXT, which I don't really get.
I don't like it. I'm really not keen on it. Especially when you had such a good opportunity to have those belts from them. The whole redemption story of Chase U. There seems to be something else going on, and it's going to be dragged out a little bit more with JC Jane. Whatever. I don't really care that much. But it seems like the ultimate redemption would have been Andre Chase and Duke Hudson winning the tag team titles. And then it releases Bron Breakker to not be in NXT anymore. And Yeah, I mean, Baron Corbin should go with him or move up to... Like, why is Baron Corbin still there? They're clearly not going to put the NXT title on him, which is the only possible reason he should be there.
Yeah.
Everything else is crap. Just put him back on the main roster.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. So, yeah, I didn't like that. You obviously did, because you predicted that they would retain and I did not. So that worked out for you. But, yeah, I don't like it, Dan. Don't like it one bit. And then the other thing that I am more, enthused about was the results of the main event, which means that Tony D'Angelo will be the one that faces Ilya Dragunov for the NXT Championship at Stand and Deliver. We've seen the Don kind of put his family back together a little bit in the last few weeks and show a little bit more heel, as it were.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm here for Tony. He's got a new family member, isn't he? And what's his name?
Yeah, I can never remember his name.
Or something?
Yeah, is it Luca Crucifino or
something like that?
Like when Booker T can't get his name right, like I've got no hope, to be honest with you. So, like that guy, the new guy in the family with the Italian sounding name, and as soon as he came in with an Italian sounding name, it's like, right, well, he's going to join the family, isn't it? Because Shawn Michaels books like a 12-year-old writing like storylines in between lessons or during lessons. So, he's Italian, he can go in the family. Right, okay, yeah. Thanks, Shawn. Great. Yeah. But I do like it as much as I give that a hard time. I do enjoy that the family has grown again. They shouldn't have got rid of that other guy. What was his name? The guy who's with AEW now. Yeah, I can't remember. 2 Dimes, was it? 3 Dimes, something Dimes. Stacks? That was it.
No, Stacks is
Stacks is the one that's still there. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea then. The other guy.
I can't remember.
I think his name's Cole Carter in AEW. That guy. Right. Yeah. They shouldn't have got rid of him. At least not for a little while until they were ready to grow the stable. But with, the 4 of them now, that woman whose name I don't know. Riz something. Yeah. She just was kind of there one week. It's like, she's part of the group now. I'm like, okay, fine.
Okay. All right.
Cheers, but yeah, I like them. I like that Tony D is going to get his shot.
Yeah.
I hope he wins.
Yeah, I hope he wins. I can't really see him winning, though.
I'm struggling to see it as well, but at the same time, I think Ilya Dragunov is more than ready for the main roster, so let's just do it. Tony D's been in NXT for 3 years now. It's kind of, get on with it or get off the pot time.
Yeah.
Just give him a run. Let him have a mafioso-like hook over NXT, and once he's got the belt, he just refuses to defend it until people jump through all the hurdles that he sets as the true Don of NXT with the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually looking at some old Stand and Delivers recently. And was reminded of the fact that it was Tony D and Tommaso Ciampa to decide who was the true Don of NXT. And Tony D obviously won that, and then it's just sat around pretty much. The only story of note that Tony D has been given was when he was imprisoned, and that kind of didn't end brilliantly. That was a bit of a damp squib ending, so it would be good to actually see him get something cool, and titles are cool. Let's give him a title. Any other thoughts about NXT Roadblock?
No.
Right, let's close out predictions for the day then, and then we'll get into our final topic of the day, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
NXT Roadblock. We each got 3 correct. Not the same 3, but 3 correct.
Yeah.
Which means that as of now, all of the events are finally up to date. What do we come into this day with? 10-9. Yeah, This number is very different now. The current score is Jez, 45. Dan, 49.
Boom.
You're ahead by 4. I don't like that, but that's a lot of predicting that we've done in a calendar month. Yes. In fact, the last quarter ended around these numbers. I think just tipping into the 50s is when when that ended. And I think we're going to get up to 70-ish before we finish this quarter up to WrestleMania. Thanks, New Japan Cup. Loads to predict. Loving it. Thoroughly enjoying all of that. And finally, in addition to the championship matches that we had announced as a result of Elimination Chamber, it seems we're also going to get Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and The Rock on WrestleMania Night 1. Now, this was spoiled for us as well, really, because they brought out the trailer for WrestleMania and it had these teams standing off against each other, and I'm like, you couldn't have waited to release this trailer until you had announced this match. Yeah, really, it's amateur hour, and for WWE, that's just so bizarre. Yeah, the biggest company in the world, and they just can't sit on anything. They've got to blow it all out, and then they do the announcement incorrectly, and then they just spend weeks getting up to the announcement like, we know. Thanks for that. I've got no incentive to enjoy this story because I already know all the answers. I'm not going to take the test. I know all the answers already. But in general, are you excited for the idea of a Seth and Cody versus Reigns and Rock?
Yeah, I think I am.
I think of all of the possible options, I think that is the best one. Yeah. I don't want The Rock versus Roman Reigns this year. No. I was one of the Cody crybabies that wanted him to finish the story and want him to finish the story. Yeah. The only thing I'm not hugely keen is that it has, all of these guys except for The Rock wrestle twice over WrestleMania weekend. And that kind of defeats the point of there being 2 nights. That wasn't what the 2 nights were for. The 2 nights were to give the rest of the roster opportunities, not so that you could have guys wrestle multiple times over the course of the weekend. It just doesn't sit right with me, especially considering, Rollins is falling apart and probably doesn't need to wrestle twice in one weekend. Roman Reigns, by wrestling twice this weekend, is going to wrestle more than he has all year so far. Yeah. And The Rock, okay, he'll wrestle once. Maybe he should be wrestling twice to make up for lost time. Yeah. He should just wrestle the entire roster on night 1. Yeah. Night 1 is just The Rock versus the entire SmackDown roster, one at a time. And then everything else happens on night 2. Yeah. Sounds good to me. Yeah. And The Rock, firmly part of the bloodline.
Full on heel.
Full on heel. Full on bloodline. Doesn't know how to put his finger in the air, though. Mate, you're not in the Bullet Club. It's the bloodline.
The Bang Bang Gang.
What are you doing? It was weird because I think he got called out on it, and then on SmackDown, I think he was being a troll while also doing it his way, because he went up like that, and then he very gradually went like that, and then he went like that, as if to say, I knew what I was doing. I do what I want. Do one. Yeah. But that is the bloodline one, not that. Yeah. Not that. Yeah. That. Yeah. Put your thumb in. It's like when you punch someone, tuck your thumb in or it'll get broken. And someone needs to break his thumb off if he keeps sticking it out like that. I feel very strongly about, how to do a bloodline finger, Dan. It's a hill I'll die on, apparently.
Well, and, you tried.
I tried the other way, didn't I?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got it down in the end.
For a long time.
I got it down in the end, but that
didn't last.
No. It's all about this now. What? Yeah, I kind of want to see. I want to go to a wrestling event while he's still doing that, because that just seems like such an electric, fun atmosphere, and it's like I want to be a part of that. I did the singing Seth Rollins theme. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And there are like key things like that like you just want to be a part of. Like you want to see the Undertaker's entrance.
Yeah.
Like did that. That was great. Saw Sting multiple times. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wanted to do that. Sung Seth Rollins' theme with him.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be there for the down since day one-ish. It's just me who's day one-ish. Yeah, that. I want to be in the room where it happens.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, all that said, I've got nothing really to be excited about on the road to WrestleMania, but I am excited for WrestleMania.
Yes.
And we'll be here week on week to discuss what hasn't changed between now and WrestleMania, at least in WWE.
Yeah.
Coming up for the rest of this week, TNA have an event on Friday night, TNA Sacrifice. So if there's anything to discuss from that, we'll talk about it next week. But I think the bulk of our conversation next week is going to be AEW Big Business and the New Japan Cup.
Yes.
And WWE will have done the same things, and we'll be like, yeah, nothing's changed in WWE. Let's wait for WrestleMania. Yeah. And that is our show.
Yeah.
It's gone quicker than I expected. I thought with everything that we've talked about, we'd have been here for a couple of hours, but we're only about 5 or 10 minutes over our usual. Yeah. It's all good.
It's all good.
Maybe next week will be longer.
Maybe.
Depends
how good everything is.
It's all good because it gives me more screen time with this beautiful championship belt. So yeah, as we close out, I will remind you
hold it the right way up.
That I am. Oh yeah.
Hold it the right way up, man.
Sorry,
you just cocked up massively.
I don't have practice with it. I'll get plenty of practice now. Look at that. I'll just bounce it around and sing the song. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, fine. We're out. I'll see you next week. He'll see you next week too. I've been Jez.
I've been Dan.
This has been the Main Event Podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Yay.